Demarcus Chop Corley. About to get this thing started in a hot second. If you have any questions or anything, you can definitely let me know, and I will answer them as best as possible. I will let the master brain, the legend of Chop, do it himself, because I'm pretty sure he can answer things a whole lot better than I can. All right. Just hitting up some people here. Have to get this thing going. Yeah. Alrighty. Alright. My man, the legend of Chop Corley, over here, live in New York City, Manhattan. First of all, how are you enjoying the weather?
Well, it's cold, but I'm enjoying it.
He's doing his thing. You were here yesterday at Madison Square Garden. What were you doing? What were you doing there in Madison Square Garden?
I was there watching the Long Machine Go fight Richie Coleman, and also working with a fighter before the undercard.
What do you think? What do you think about first of all, what do you think about the Kami and Lomachenko fight?
That was a great fight. I mean, Richard fought his heart out. He tried, but it's just too much skills for him. At the end of the day, the speed, the power was too much for Richard. He didn't give up at the end of the day. He fought. And went on 12 rounds.
Exactly. So now, yeah. Now, you're over here working with a fighter as well. So, how was that? How was that experience, and how long have you been doing that?
I just started working with this fighter. He's fought at 187 pounds. He had problems bringing the weight down, but he got the weight down. I know he was a little bit dehydrated leading up to the fight, so our game plan was to try to box. But he got hit with a good body shot due to him dropping weight. He got up, he tried to recover, but he started taking unnecessary punches, and the referee stopped the fight in the first round.
Yeah. Anytime, anytime that we're dropping too much weight the wrong way, do you believe, from what I know, it could affect your chin, your durability, and your ability to be able to take certain shots and recover. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree 100%. When you're losing a lot of weight, your body's not going to react the way it used to reacting when you're in the gym sparring.
Yeah, I agree with that, because and looking at Chop over here, he looks the same. I mean, like, you ever seen them before and after, the high body fat pictures? He's like the after picture always. The 0% body. I like, it's all right though. We still love you. He's a hell of an individual. Former world champion in professional boxing at the highest level. I remember many of your fights, your cards, man. The skill level, that lefty way of fighting. And one thing that you always brought was you had that slick style, more cerebral. You know how to move well, and but you wouldn't overcommit. You just do your thing, let your hands go. Which was one of your favorite boxing matches from the time?
One of my favorite boxing matches?
With yourself.
I would say taking the fight on a 5-day notice.
Wow.
Becoming world champion. And that was the WBO world title I won.
Wow.
I took that fight on a 5-day notice.
Wow. Yeah, earlier today we were speaking about Todd. We were speaking about how some people, they believe that they can just knock out the world, knock out everyone. I remember you fought an undefeated knockout artist some time back, and after he fought you, he was no longer undefeated because you schooled him. What advice would you give someone who's just falling in love with just knockout? Because I think that we were discussing something, and I do agree with the Teofimo Lopez, where you can't knock the world out, and such as Deontay Wilder as well. A dog, does his thing, the highest respect, but when you're dealing with that, where you think you can knock the world out, there's going to be guys you can't knock out. Just like Tank the other day, he saw he had to take a different approach because you can't knock everybody out. So what advice do you have?
The advice I have for that, go back to the basics. When you first got into boxing, you wasn't knocking nobody out in the beginning. You developed that you had power, and you learned how to place your punches, and the knockout started to come. But don't forget what took you there. It was the combinations. It was head movement, body shots, head shots, breaking opponents down. You just wasn't going in there one shot, you knock a person out. It was always accumulation of punches that got the knockout.
Yeah. Do you believe? We're gonna go on to the last fight I saw you have, which was a young man boxing, and it was like a tremendous schooling lesson. It was like you were at the undergrad, you were taking all these courses, you finished all that, and this guy's just getting in the door on a basic course. Of course, he thought he was advanced, but the brain, like the things that you were doing in there, was something that historically a younger guy would be doing. But the way you schooled him, so smart, the movement. What do you attribute to that? And who was your opponent? So we know, because I remember it was a young dude.
My last fight?
Yes, your last fight.
The last fight was, he wasn't so much young. He was in his 30s, but what was his name? Linwood.
Yeah.
Linwood Doza. And I knew he weighed more than me. He was much bigger than me. And my game plan was to just box him, take him to school, hit and not get hit.
And it worked. Like some fighters, I think that to train with someone like yourself would be really, really beneficial.
Say that again?
To train with someone like yourself would be really, really beneficial. It's just amazing. It's amazing because of not only the fact that your past experience, but your current experience, to still be able to put into practice. And talking with you, you're level-headed. You have your mind right. Some guys are like, you're not punchy. And I know you've seen that.
Yeah.
You've seen guys where you're like, I know an individual, no mention his name. He's a mixed martial artist, but from some time back, and I think that it started to affect him. Hey, man, what's up? Yeah, you see me here with the legend. He's a fighter himself, MMA. But it was just amazing to see the difference from way back when to now, and he's a great person. It's just that thing is just. It's crazy because boxing, with the standing 8 counts and all that stuff, is really dangerous, man. Because you're getting knocked out, you get a chance to get up again, get knocked out. So it's tough, man. So when I see someone like yourself who's just so technical, you do things a certain way, and your defense is always there. But you're a person who's a rare individual in that you can do things like that and still do it. You're younger than me, but for boxing, you're definitely not a teenager, man. How old are you now?
47.
48. Almost 48. I'm 52. I'll be 53 this coming year, man. To do the things that you do is amazing, man. I'm proud to know you. I'm glad, man, because all the times, man, that I would watch you fight, even when I saw you fight Floyd Mayweather, when he had jumped up in weight, and when we were watching the fight, I said, I don't know, this guy's different. I said, I've seen him fight before. He got certain things that he's a brain, but he's a dog. If you got to get in there and do his thing, he's going to do it. And that was the first time that I ever saw Floyd Mayweather get hurt, where I could see him. against the rope, but he was like, I could see when you hit him, then it changed a lot in him. But you've also worked with him. Now, what is next in store for Chop Chop? Oh, besides the fact that we have to have a cook-off, because, see, but we're in my hometown over here, so I get it. But we have pots and pans and all that, and we have plenty of food to cook, because this guy throws down, man. He throws down, and the bad part is that if I'm doing intermittent fasting or something, I gotta wait to eat, and it's like torture. I would like scroll by his page, it's like, hi, with all the food. I'm like, come on, really? But he's a great cook. So what's in store? What's next for you, Chop Chop? You say it.
Chop back in the gym Monday. Getting ready for an upcoming fight in February the 19th. Back in Washington, D.C.
That's where you're from.
Just staying busy, getting ready to work on my documentary. We got a documentary that we're about to start filming about my life and me transcending from a professional fighter to coaching other fighters and my kids as well, Little Chop. And then we're going to also bring aboard the Chop Chop Kitchen. Chop love to eat, Chop love to cook. But most of all, it ain't what you eat, it's how you eat. That's why I keep my body in great shape.
You hear that? So now, do you like coaching other fighters? Do you find it rewarding, and how so?
I love the point to where I'm outside the ring and I'm coaching. I get a chance to see the things that another fighter is capable of doing, and me able to help them develop their skills to a point where they can become another world champion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So any fighters who see this, because I'm going to tag certain people, and I have people going in my inbox and whatnot and asking me questions. If you want some real training, the proof is in the pudding. But I know that what type of trainer are you? Are you like a strict trainer, or you have certain
Nah, I'm strict. I ain't gonna lie, I'm strict.
How so?
I won't train my own kids if they're smoking weed. I can't be bothered with you. Because boxing is not a sport that you can play. If you're gonna smoke weed, you're gonna drink, I'm not gonna be bothered with you. And that's one of the reasons why I wasn't training one of my sons. Because they chose to play boxing.
So you're saying that it takes 100% focus and dedication, and I agree with certain aspects. And if you're a trainer and you have, it's not like it's something that you didn't do for yourself. That's something that you don't do. I know you love coffee though.
Oh, I love coffee.
But weed, I know you don't smoke weed. And he stays strict. So guys, or ladies, anyone, if you want someone who's really going to bring you to the next level, it's hard to find people who can do both. There are several people that I know, fighters, past fighters and stuff like that, who can do both. And he's one of them. But he ain't playing that shit. So if you think you're going to be playing around and doing all this other shit, and because it's not. And you're dealing with a person who's, in my eyes and the eyes of many, royalty in the boxing world. He is. You know what I mean? Nobody was handing out belts and say, yo, do you need something to do? Yeah, here's a world belt. Now, you got to go in there and you got to earn it. So always the utmost respect to my brother here. But he's letting you know, if he's going to train you, can't be bullshitted. He got standards. But as a person, otherwise, but I get it. That's how you work. That's how you roll. That's how you do it. So in February, right? Who exactly are you fighting? Do you know?
His name is Mark. I think it's Mac Allen out of Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore.
He accepted to fight me. I think it's rare. He's a young kid. I think he got about 15 pro fights. I think he's like 13-3. Another young fighter is about to get taken to school.
That seems to be the pattern here. But I know sometimes we spoke before, and it was hard for you to get certain fights with some of the younger fighters because a lot of times their management or people behind them, they don't want them to lose. Of course, they don't want to see them exposed in a certain way. But I think that the best thing you could do is put him against someone who's a seasoned vet, who moves well, who takes care of himself, because you're not slow, so you do your thing. And it's a learning process as well.
True.
You can only get better. If you try to avoid something, it's going to come. When you move up the ranks, right? Yeah. It's going to come. How are you going to avoid it? Because you can't hide who you are in there. Once they put that shit on, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's too, so, and Chop is one of them people who obviously took care of himself, but he wants to take care of his fighters as well. In a lot of things, they have like things where people don't want that lackadaisical type shit. And then some places are still drug tested. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing all this other stuff. I know in the UFC they made it just legal weed. And there's some people. I've seen some fighters who drink themselves out of a career. Out of a career because they were so good that they couldn't stay away from that motherfucking bottle. So if you can stay away from the bottle, and sometimes food too. You can't make weight. Like certain things, like I don't know, man. UFC, you give up a certain portion of your earnings and whatnot. That means that's how much that meal costs. That last thing that you eat. So he don't have that problem. He eats whatever and don't gain nothing. All right. Definitely, man. We want to see you back here in New York City. And when we do, can you please promise that we're going to have a cook-off? Unless I go to Vegas or something, or go to D.C. I go to Vegas.
What part of New York you in?
Right now, I'm in Queens.
You're in Queens?
Right.
Okay, so when I come back, I'm going to come to your house and cook.
Yeah, you come to if I'm not in Queens, my family Long Island. We got some in Manhattan in the BX, but we're going to go to Queens.
We're going to go get some meat and we're going to cook. I ain't going nowhere without my seasons. We're going to cook it.
See, the challenge accepted. And we're going to make a belt. It's going to be a belt. It's going to be a belt. And then the announcer, just messing with you. But I look forward to it because we always talked and joked about this man. But when you meet someone like yourself who's just a humble spirit, one of the, good people to be around, I appreciate it and respect, because I'm pretty sure you met a couple of knuckleheads in life, because I met quite a few. Some of them, they all right, some, but there's levels to everything. You got some that's one of some of the best people ever. You know what I mean? And like I tell guys, when you're fighting a sport, whatever, sometimes you say things, you go back and forth. That's not that person. That's part of the psychology of winning or building up the fight. Because if they were in the street doing that, they wouldn't be fighting, because they'd probably be up somewhere else, you know what I mean, which is not tolerated. But I thank you, man, for your time. I appreciate you here with none other than Chop. And challenge accepted. Chop. But yo, thank you. You see him just...
I'm going to chop you up in the kitchen.
Nah, that's not going to happen. It's not. He says that now. But I'm going to use my technical skills in the kitchen.
Okay. You got some technical skills.
It'll be like this. And when I'm flipping that thing and go like this, I'm telling you, we're going to see. All right, guys. Thank you, man. This is Rob Vasquez with the one, the only, the living legend, Chop Corley. Guys from back in the days known as... Cheers.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays from us. Thank you. God bless all of you. Bye.